Now, this time of year, it's a time for reflecting on everything good and bad that happened, as well as looking forward to the new year. Joining me to discuss the best books of 2023 and what ones to look out for in 24 is author Sam Blake. Sam, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I am very, very well. What was your top hit, your favourite book of 2023?
Oh gosh, that's a hard question. I read so many fantastic books. I have to say one of the ones I really loved was Lisa Jewell's book. That I've now completely forgotten the title of.
Okay. Tell us.
You sprung it on me.
None of this is true?
That's the one.
That's
yes.
the one. Was what's the genre? I haven't read it.
It's crime. Obviously, I'm a crime writer, so I
Yes.
love crime. But one of the things I did when you were asking me about which books were which was try and get a real selection of books that some of them are crime related, but they cross lots of different types of areas within crime. So
Okay,
yeah,
brilliant.
but that for me, Lisa's book was great. Andrew Mara's book as well. No One Saw a Thing is fantastic.
Really, really brilliant.
Absolutely.
Okay, so take us through the books that we need to read from 2023, and then we'll get into 2024.
Okay, so there are a good few that I really loved. I think I was on earlier talking about Lesson and Malice with Catherine Kerwin, but one of the big ones I felt that is really good for people is The Power of Connection with Harry Barry by Harry Barry.
Yes,
I think particularly now we're seeing social media changing so much. We're all now. In the last couple of weeks, allowed on Threads, so with the demise of Twitter, I think people are struggling with connection because we've become so social media reliant, and people have lost that ability to communicate. And The Power of Connection is fantastic. It talks you through a whole load of different ways of dealing with situations, and gives you sort of tips in terms of the power of conversation, listening skills, non-verbal communication.
That's what I really like about Harry Barry's books, and this one in particular, is that they're so practical. It's not sort of a theoretical exploration of connection and mental health. It's like, do this is what's going to happen, and this is how you're going to feel, which I just think is exactly what people need these days.
Absolutely. And as a practicing doctor, he has all the experience, and he has loads of case studies as well that he puts through the book as well. So you can really identify with it. I just think certainly these days, the way things are going at the moment, I saw Brezzi actually online talking about the fact that he feels that the whole social media situation is probably going to change. We might move away from it. And I know a lot of people have moved away from X because they feel that, well, it's just turned into a toxic swamp, hasn't it?
Yes.
And I think once you start to wean yourself off it, then you find that actually you don't need it as much. And you can talk to real people in real life.
Imagine. What a time to be alive.
Bonus.
So talk to us about your next book, Lamplighters of the Phoenix Park.
This is absolutely gorgeous. It's a historical sort of treatise on the Phoenix Park, but through the eyes of the family who've been the Lamplighters just forever. And obviously the Phoenix Park is one of those amazing places that everybody holds dear for some reason. Whether it was the Pope's visit or it was a trip to the zoo when you were little, or going to the deer, whatever. And it has such a huge historical importance in terms of the country as well, right the way from through assassinations and all the various things that have happened there. But the Flanagan family have been lighting the gas lamps literally since 1890. And Donald Fallon talks to brothers Frank and James Flanagan to talk to them about their world and what it's about. And it's just a beautiful book. It's got gorgeous pictures in it. I bought it for my dad for Christmas, and it's one of those fabulous books.
Surely with the advent of electricity, they're not still doing it though, are they?
I think they are. They're still at it. There are still some that
are lamplit. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, you mentioned it earlier, but talk to us about No One Saw a Thing.
So No One Saw a Thing. It was sort of one of the standout crime novels of this year. It was in the charts, I think, for about 4 months. Mm-hmm. Incredible. And it's one of those books. It's about a woman who is, she's a mum, she's a bit harassed, she's in London. She's gone back for sort of a school reunion, and she's got her kids with her. She's got one in the pram and then two walking, and the kids get onto the tube and the tube doors close, and she has that moment of like, oh my God, and like every single time you say it, I can see your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wide.
I read this book, I couldn't put it down.
Yeah, I mean the thought of being, especially the tube is busy and and these children get onto the tube and the doors close, and that's just such a fantastic premise. And then it really unfolds from there, twist after twist after twist. Everybody who has read it has absolutely adored it. It's been a real word of mouth book.
Definitely one to pick up.
Definitely.
The Returned by Amanda Cassidy.
That's a great one. Amanda won she was shortlisted for the Creasy Dagger last year with her first book, and she's an amazing writer, but quite a literary crime writer, and creates the most amazing characters. So her character Ali is pregnant. She's a detective, and she goes to investigate a fire. There's been 2 fires. It's sort of one of these historical ones. There's a fire in the past as well. But Amanda really gets under the skin of her characters and gets under the skin of the people sort of in the that she's writing about. And it's amazing. And it's also based on a real life experience because her own house burnt down too. So she's bringing a lot of that emotion to the story. So another good one for me.
So we're going to move on to ones to look out for in 2024. Because it's a big year for books. We'll start there. Well, you can choose where we start.
There's some great ones. Rosemary Hennigan's favourite is fantastic. That's out on the 18th of January. I've put them in order here. And it's a real dark academia book. It's about Jessica Mooney, who seems like every other student at university. And she goes to an American, she's Irish, but she goes to American university. But she's got this really dark secret because her sister is dead, and the professor who she's working with now, she's sort of working under, is to blame. And basically, it's all about her getting justice. So it's a revenge. I love a good revenge book, and but it's absolutely beautifully written. It really, really draws you in, and she captures that whole sense of university life and. The things that go on really, really brilliantly.
So not long. What did you say? 19th of January?
Yeah, 18th of January. Yeah, not long to go.
And what else?
Claire Coughlin has a fantastic book. So Rosemary Hennigan's is dark academia. It's quite literary. So although it's got a sort of mystery background to it, Claire's is historical. So it's set partly in Dublin in 1943, and then it brings us up to Dublin in 1968. And her heroine is a journalist called Nicoletta Sarto, and she goes back to investigate, the disappearance of a woman called Julia Bridges, who vanished in 1943. I absolutely love this. She evokes Dublin of the period and the whole period just so brilliantly, even right down to the detail of Nicoletta's clothes and her little hats, and it's just literally you feel like you step back in time, and that's great. Loads of twists. Again, another dark book, but one that'll keep you hooked. And if you like historical fiction, that's for you.
And before we finish up, do you have a book out this year?
I do.
Tell us about that.
In shops at the moment. It is. It's called Three Little Birds, and it is about a facial reconstruction expert called Dr. Carla Steele, who is presented with a skull in her office in the Garda headquarters, and her job is to rebuild it to try and find the story behind the missing person. She goes to a place called Coynes Cross in County Mayo to go and see where the skull was dumped and where it was found, and gets embroiled in a very current case as well as a cold case.
Give us the title again.
It's called Three Little Birds.
Three Little Birds. We actually have a text from someone here from Mayo, now that you've mentioned it. Hi, Steph. Irish Lake House by Colleen Coleman, an up-and-coming Irish writer. Highly recommend. A great read. Love the show. Larry in Mayo.